right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
The city of St. Louis missing out on a pot of cash. The marijuana mistake that could lead to a budget buzzkill. A woman fights for her life as her family fights for justice. Tonight we're learning more about the driving record of the suspected drunk driver who hit her.
We're going to do everything in our power to hold the defendant accountable.
But first, badly needed rain continues for many right now. Just how long the rain lingers.
And that cold rain continues to fall tonight in St. Charles, St. Louis, and all across the region. It's causing a mess on the roads at the start of the busy Thanksgiving travel week. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush, and Allred has the night off. Widespread showers could continue into the morning. Let's get straight over to Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with what you can expect overnight.
Well, we think, Mike, most of this rain is going to be pushing out before daybreak tomorrow, so that should leave us in a pretty good setup for tomorrow morning's rush hour compared with this evening. This evening was a combination of the rain moving in and the fact that we haven't had rain for nearly 3 weeks for most of us without any substantial rain. That left a lot of grease and oil on the road, and you know oil and water don't mix. Most of that now has washed away, so we've ended our weather alert for the St. Louis area for this evening since traffic has let up now. But there were quite a few accidents around the area earlier this evening. The heaviest band of rain is off to the east and northeast of St. Louis. There's another one trailing here on the backside of this system. That one is stretching west of Warrenton up towards Bowling Green. You see there are some spots with some darker green shadings here throughout parts of the metro area. There have been a few places that have picked up close to a half an inch or a little more of rain, but most of us are below that. Lambert, they're still operating the flights despite the fact this evening that we do have rain in St. Louis and the low clouds and the visibility. Showers will be moving out overnight, likely before daybreak. The clouds, though, they're slower to depart, and it's a gusty breeze to go along with that chilly weather tomorrow. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk more about Thanksgiving.
Tonight, a woman is in critical condition. Her leg had to be amputated after being hit by a suspected drunk driver in North St. Louis County. Now her family is calling for justice. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski is live in Clayton, where St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell is pledging to hold the driver accountable. Laura.
Mike, St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell says the driver has been charged with 2 counts of driving while under the influence, leaving the scene of an accident, endangering a child, and driving with a revoked license. According to court records, the driver, this isn't the first time he's been caught driving under the influence. Artricia Wilson says her mom, Marcella Wilson, was standing near her car by the trunk on Barron Drive Saturday evening when another car came flying down the road.
When he came around the corner, it hit her and pinned her up against, and he was on this side. So I'm trying to figure out why you're speeding.
Police say a witness saw the driver, Otis Goff, speeding and swerving before crashing into the 72-year-old woman, causing her to lose her left leg and have extensive surgery on her right leg.
She's in good spirits. She's fighting. We're fighting along right with her. We're not giving up. We're praying for her.
Police say Goff was drunk and had 2 children in the car at the time of the crash. One got out before he drove away from the scene, with the other child still in the car. Investigators say he then drove to his home on Lucas and Hunt Road, where a neighbor called police after seeing the damage to Goff's car. Windshield broken, front dented, and even blood on the car. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell says they acted as quickly as possible to make sure no one else was hurt.
We are going to do everything in our power to hold this defendant accountable, and we hope that if people are listening, do not get behind the wheel of a car if you've been drinking or using any kind of drugs, and if you see someone, stop them.
Goff is also facing charges for another DWI in 2021 and had an order of protections against him as recently as this summer. Bell says, unfortunately, unless someone is behind bars, it's tough for law enforcement to stop people from driving drunk.
And unless we are able to assign officers to individuals, there's only so much that we can do. There's only so much that law enforcement can do.
Goff is now behind bars on a $350,000 cash bond. He's scheduled to be in court next week for a bond reduction hearing. Reporting live in Clayton, Laura Barczewski, 5 on Your Side.
New tonight, a registered sex offender is back behind bars charged with child molestation. Police say he's with two young victims at Elephant Rock State Park. State Park Rangers arrested 43-year-old Michael Barton of Bismarck, Missouri last week. Investigators say a search of his phone revealed evidence showing the children were sexually abused. Barton was convicted of possession of child pornography in Granite City back in 2008. The city of St. Louis is potentially out hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue since October. The city failed to file paperwork with the state in time to collect sales tax on recreational marijuana. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Andy Krall spoke with marijuana experts about what went wrong. Andy.
Well, back in April, a proposition passed to add an additional 3% sales tax in St. Louis City. It was meant to go into effect on October 1st. But the mayor's office tells me that the proper notification to marijuana purveyors and the required documentation to Missouri's Department of Revenue weren't submitted in time.
Frustrated is an understatement. I mean, look, we just came through a very tough budget cycle where we were looking at some, really stark figures here.
Initial estimates show about $500,000 lost due to the administrative oversight,
Which is a very significant amount of money for a city that needs every penny it can get.
City staff finally filed the necessary paperwork last week. A statement from the St. Louis mayor's office explains that, quote, while state law does not specifically define who is responsible for submitting the required documents to the Department of Revenue, the bottom line is that St. Louis will be precluded from collecting the additional 3% sales tax on cannabis products. That is unacceptable.
It's totally within their discretion how to spend that 3% sales tax revenue, whereas the 6% statewide sales tax is specifically allocated to 3 purposes.
The owner of Starbuds Dispensary in University City says an average order is about $50 to $70.
Missouri enjoys their cannabis, and so they may have missed out for a couple months, but they will be getting their money once everything gets in order.
The Missouri Department of Revenue has filed a special waiver to begin collecting revenue on January 1st.
I mean, this is absolutely a preventable misstep, and I'm hoping that we can kind of get to the bottom of it in our budget committee. We can get to the bottom of what exactly happened here, what went wrong, and make sure that we have clearly defined roles in our city departments that can prevent something like this from happening ever again.
The St. Louis Budget Committee will be meeting next week on November 29th. They're going to be talking about staffing shortages and how that may have impacted this lack of filing paperwork for the city's new marijuana sales tax. Mike?
Annie, thanks. Developing tonight, the Missouri Supreme Court will not hear Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft's appeal on the language of abortion ballot summaries. He was seeking to overturn a lower court's ruling that changed the wording on several petitions for next year's ballot that would enshrine abortion rights in Missouri's Constitution. Ashcroft says they would allow for dangerous, unregulated, and unrestricted abortions. The ACLU says the repeated rejections of Ashcroft's arguments show his case has no legal bearing. A charity organizer who's fed and clothed countless families in the St. Louis area now needs help herself this Thanksgiving. New tonight, our Robert Townsend reports a fire destroyed Shanna Poole Jones' home, but not her will to serve.
For the past 4 years, Shayna Poole Jones has been committed to helping others. During the height of the pandemic, Jones lost 6 family members and 4 friends to COVID-19.
I figured I had to do something.
She started a nonprofit called Keep Pushing Incorporated and turned her sadness into service. Shayna collected food, toiletries, and more, sat them on her grab-and-go table on her front lawn in Maplewood, and let people have it all for free.
Early this year, we had started sheltering, helping the St. Louis City shelter people, our unhoused family.
She and her family moved to Hazelwood just 3 months ago, but on November 11th,
a big fire.
And he came around the corner saying, fire, fire.
Her 4-year-old son, Tristan, ran and screamed that to his grandma. Neighbors helped the two get out of their burning house safely. Shayna raced home and saw this.
This right here is rough because I don't have nothing to hold on to but God.
The family's new home is now a pile of charred rubble days before Thanksgiving.
We don't even have a mailbox. When you have to sit up in a hotel room and just look around, it's rough.
Right now, Shayna says she and her insurance company are still waiting to talk to the property owners before she can actually move forward. Meantime, her brand, Keep Pushing, now has new meaning.
We got to keep pushing, because if I don't be an example to the people around me that we are able to push as we struggle, who's going to be the example? And I'm just thankful to be alive.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Neighbors and strangers are helping the family with Thanksgiving food and other necessities. If you'd like to help, we have a link to a GoFundMe page for the family with this story on KSDK.com. Well, the fight card is now set for this year's Guns and Hoses. The official weigh-in took place tonight at River City Casino. The annual boxing and MMA event is Wednesday night at Enterprise Center. It pits police officers on Team Blue against firefighters and EMTs on Team Red. Raising money and department pride are at stake.
It's a big stage. There's a lot of people going to be there. And the biggest thing is all their colleagues are going to be there. So, you know, going back to the firehouse after a loss is pretty tough. So they want to win.
All money raised goes to Backstoppers, which supports the families of first responders killed or seriously hurt in the line of duty. And Wednesday night's event is sold out.
Calls for change at the St. Louis City Justice Center.
Fire the current Commissioner of Corrections.
Tonight, the I-Team has tough questions for the woman charged with keeping workers and inmates safe.
When I'm aware of something, I address it.
Her answers to the chaos behind cell doors.
While most of the rain winds down early Tuesday, it certainly won't be a pleasant afternoon. There are changes, though, coming just in time for Thanksgiving travel.
A consumer alert tonight if you have peaches, nectarines, and plums on your Thanksgiving menu. The CDC is recalling some fruits over fears they're contaminated with listeria. Officials say one person has died and 11 others have been sickened. The 2-pound bags were sold in 7 states, including Illinois, between May 1st and November 15th. They were sold under the brand HMC Farms or Signature Farms. The fruit was also sold individually with the sticker USA EU. Our I-Team has investigated inmate deaths, overdoses, and even assaults on the guards and inmates inside the St. Louis City Justice Center. Tonight, some long-awaited reform could bring more transparency and accountability to the St. Louis City Justice Center. A 212-page proposal now sits on Mayor Tashara Jones' desk. It would allow corrections officers to file anonymous complaints. The mayor says she'll sign it. It comes as the chair of the Civilian Oversight Board is calling for the mayor to fire the city's jail commissioner. And tonight, the I-Team has tough questions for Jennifer Clemens Abdullah. 5 on your side's Christine Beyer sat down with the commissioner for her take on the problems and solutions.
After scenes like this in 2021, Mayor Tashara Jones made a change, appointing Jennifer Clemens Abdullah as the city's new jail commissioner. Now, the honeymoon is over.
Fire the current Commissioner of Corrections.
We spoke to Clemens Abdullah Friday before those cries from critics.
They want to put all the responsibility on me, but we have to look at things in its totality and say, how long has it been going on?
On her 26-month watch, 7 inmates have died. Autopsy reports show 3 suicides, at least 1 drug overdose, and natural causes.
What is being done to prevent these deaths?
Department of Health is being more interactive with what's going on to ensure we get a good provider in here to replace YesCare.
YesCare is the medical provider whose contract expires in 10 days.
What are you doing to address the drugs that are getting in here?
I won't put it out for public consumption. The detainees may not be watching the news, but other relatives are, and that information gets to them.
Do you feel like there have been more overdoses lately?
I really don't have those numbers. I don't know those numbers.
The city's EMS department knows the numbers. Records show in just 1 month between October 15th and November 15th, EMS has been called to the facility 20 times, 8 times for suspected overdoses. Since 2020, police have been called to the facility more than 2,000 times.
Is that acceptable to you?
I'm not going to say it's acceptable. It may be necessary.
So you were 30 to 50 officers down when you first came, and where are you at now?
We're close.
About the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I ain't gonna. It's a little bit more than that, but I won't give you an exact number.
Okay. Why?
Safety and security.
Can you say that it is safe in here for inmates and staff?
Nothing's ever 100% because you don't know people, right? But I can say when I'm aware of something, I address it.
In August, inmates took a 73-year-old guard hostage for 3 hours and let 40 to 50 inmates out of their cells after stealing the guard's keys.
What is being done to address the safety of staff following the hostage situation?
We're teaching them going back to the basics. When someone's supposed to be handcuffed, are they handcuffed? Are they leg earned? Are they getting what they deserve?
A whistleblower told the I-Team just 1 week later the violence was due to inmates being denied rec time, shower time, laundry, and other basic industry standards.
What are you doing to improve those living conditions, those basic living conditions?
When people say this is not happening, can you show me a facility where everything's perfect? Please, because I would love to see how they're running it.
22 minutes in, the mayor's public safety spokesman ended the I-Team's questions.
Last question, Christine.
Clemens Abdullah answered her last question much like she did her first, looking to the past.
Congresswoman Cori Bush has been very vocal in her concerns about this facility and your leadership.
Don't just look at the last 2 years. Look at the last 20. And you can break it down however you want. Are these some issues that are you bringing up now? Have they been existing? And if they have, what was done previously to address them?
For the I-Team, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
And we have the commissioner's full interview posted on KSDK.com. Tonight, some Metro East high school students are in the Big Apple. Members of the Marching Panthers from O'Fallon Township High School headed off to New York City this morning. They will perform in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and you can watch it Thanksgiving morning at 8:30 right here on 5 on your side. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with that Weather First forecast, and we've been waiting for rain, and we've certainly had a lot tonight.
Yeah, many of us have seen a half an inch or so of rain around the metro area. We're right there at Lambert. So right about a half an inch through most of the metro area. Had a report from Baldwin of that. We've seen some spots with a little more, but most of us are right around 4/10 to 6/10 of an inch. This is down Highway 141 and 55. Of course, traffic this time of night has let up, even though we are approaching the Thanksgiving holiday. Wednesday night, I would suspect that'll look a whole lot different, as a lot of folks will be heading out Wednesday evening after work, and certainly during the day Wednesday. Kids are off school in a lot of cases. The severe storms and the really ugly weather, if you will, has been down to the south of us today. Severe weather going across parts of Mississippi and Louisiana, with several tornadoes reported. Those storms are still strong, but they're not as strong as they were. For us, not even any thunder, but we badly needed the rainfall, that's for sure. And most of us have seen a decent amount. Now, again, it's showers and bands of it. The first wave has moved off to the east and northeast of St. Louis. We still have a little more back to the west, but right now your heavier rain is off to the east of St. Louis, and it's still impacting that area around Staunton, Illinois. Chris shared this photo with us on the 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers Facebook group, with about 7/10 of an inch in the rain gauge there. In downtown St. Louis, low clouds, still raining, 49 degrees, drizzle being reported at Lambert too. Dew point's 46, it's 49, so that means the relative humidity's high. We picked up 49/100 of an inch so far at Lambert. Our high today, 52. The low, 48. Not much of a spread with the clouds around. Tonight, we're dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s in most spots. We will continue to see the rain for a while longer, but as we head through the overnight hours, it's generally going to be pushing out into the east and northeast. So we're thinking by daybreak tomorrow morning, we're left with clouds, breezy, cool conditions, and yes, mainly dry weather during the day tomorrow. Although we can't rule out a spot shower as we reinforce the cool air across the area, and we get that gusty breeze blowing during the midday hours into tomorrow afternoon. So just keep that in mind. Traveling on Wednesday, big travel day for sure. East Coast, you have the potential for still some rain with this system, especially the southeast and into the northeast. Mid-Atlantic should start to clear out after the morning hours. Pacific Northwest, potentially some rain there. But here locally, we're talking about a pretty decent, if you have to drive, within an easy day's drive of St. Louis, 5, 6, 7 hours away. I mean, this is looking pretty doggone good. Temperatures are expected to be in the 40s and 50s in most spots, and dry on all the roads on Thursday close to St. Louis. Bright and mild, we'll be at 56 for our Thanksgiving Day high temperature. So temperatures go up a bit. We're dropping towards the weekend, but after the rain leaves overnight tonight into tomorrow, the rain chances are pretty low going into next week, Mike.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, the Cardinals are getting the old band back together. The Tigers have a real interesting game on Friday afternoon, and we're playing hit and run with Bill Bradley.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
John Mozeliak is not done shopping, and the season is not starting tomorrow. Yet, he signs a player today, and the critics are out. Now, if he doesn't acquire two better starting pitchers than the one he signed today, then he deserves it, and the Cardinals can't win. But let's wait and see. That pitcher is Lance Lynn. It's a one-year deal worth $10 million, and the club has an option for a second year, which could make it $26 million. The bad news is Lance will be 37. He just gave up 44 homers, and in the postseason, he gave up 4 straight in his last playoff appearance for the Dodgers. He was actually okay for the Dodgers and not okay for the White Sox this season. His earned run average for the year was almost 6. Lynn was a part of the 2011 Cardinal World Championship team. So too was Daniel Descalso, and he's returning to the organization, not as a player. He'll be the bench coach for Ali Marmol. Joe McEwing is moving to the front office to be a special assistant to Mr. Mozeliak. Descalso had a 10-year big league career. 5 of them were spent as a Cardinal. So Mizzou wants to go bowling. The Cotton Bowl would be so sweet, but Arkansas could spoil it all Friday. Sure, they are 4-7, but 4 of those SEC losses are by 7 points or less. In the meantime, the Tigers are coming off that heart-stopping win over the Gators. Harrison Mevis' 30-yarder was the 8th lead change of the game on Saturday night. So after this one, there couldn't be a letdown, could there, Coach?
I'm not worried about these guys being motivated to play at all. At all. I don't worry about the emotions of the previous 3 games. I worry about our physical health. But our team's going to want to play. They're going to want to show up and play. It means a lot to them. This game means a lot to them, and it means a lot to me.
Hall of Famer and Senator Bill Bradley from Crystal City is on a roll. A Netflix special on him is about to be released. The Musial Lifetime Achievement Award Saturday, and tonight the big one, Hit and Run. Best basketball player of all time?
Oscar Robertson.
Toughest guy for you to guard?
John Havlicek.
Your most memorable moment on a basketball court?
2, winning each championship. Standing at center court with your fist raised in the air, chills are going up and down your spine, realizing you're the best in the world.
Best American president of all time?
The tie between Lincoln and Washington.
Favorite place to eat in the region, in our region where you grew up?
Dohacks.
Where did the ideas come from to set up chairs to dribble around and to wear those glasses where you couldn't look at the ball? Who came up with these ideas?
Well, I came up with a couple, but the inspiration for the practice came from Easy Ed Macaulay, you know, the great Hawk and St. Louis University star. I went to his basketball camp when I was 14, and he said to the assembled campers, remember, if you're not practicing, somebody somewhere is practicing. And if you two meet, given equal ability, he's going to win. I never wanted to lose because I didn't practice.
How much does this honor mean to you, named after Stan Musial?
It means a lot to me. It's kind of unique because Musial was one of my heroes as a kid growing up, and having the award at this point in my life is like coming home.
And finally, how would Bill Bradley like to be remembered?
The guy that made the most of what God gave him.
Couple quick things. I love the line about working hard because somebody else is doing it. And also that restaurant, you have to be a little bit older, but Dohacks was a famous restaurant in St. Louis for a long time.
And a reminder that at his old high school in Crystal City, they didn't name the gym after him, they named the library after him.
That's awesome.
Frank, thanks. Record holiday shopping is expected this weekend. How you can beat the crowd ahead of Black Friday. Black Friday is just days away, but major retailers like Target, Walmart, and Amazon jump-started holiday deals today. The National Retail Federation predicts the largest number of shoppers ever this Thanksgiving weekend at 182 million. 2 lucky turkeys will never be the centerpiece of a Thanksgiving dinner table. Today, President Joe Biden celebrated his 81st birthday by pardoning 2 birds, Liberty and Belle. They'll live out the rest of their days at the University of Minnesota. And you can spend the holidays with the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. The holiday experience opens Wednesday night at Warm Springs Ranch in Boonville, Missouri. Online reservations are required. Tickets are $20 for adults, $10 for kids ages 3 to 12. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis, beginning at 4 a.m. And have a great tomorrow.